Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to the Saturday Night Freak Show. Oh, y'all are all badass for being here. Debbie, I saw that you were in the comment section before. I am so sorry to hear about your uncle's funeral. I know that you're leaving and going to sleep. I just couldn't come on and tell you that, and I wasn't in the comments yet. So, no problem. You were early. Um, Oh, wow. Today, yeah, was my uncle's funeral, and I'm sleepy. Probably won't make it. He was OG conspiracist theorist, even wrote books about it and taught classes on the JFK assassination. Oh my lordy, Debbie, we're going to definitely need to talk. We're definitely going to need to talk soon. And of course, Debbie, good night to you too, love. Hope you get a good night's rest. I'm so sorry for the loss of your uncle. I would love to hear about him more if you would like to share one day. I think we would all really love to hear that. I mean, that sounds incredible. I'm a huge JFK conspiracist. Actually, I saw a book today. And some newspaper clippings about the JFK assassination that I contemplated on getting. However, I spent too much money at HEB. I gave myself, or HEB, sorry, at the bookstore. So, I apologize that Asylum is a little late this week for the trivia quiz. My kids came down with the flu. It's spring break this coming week, and my oldest son went to Six Flags with his friends. So I had so much going that week that I knew I need to take care of my audio. So I recorded it, got it all set up and in, all programmed in, and then all of a sudden, the audio wasn't good. And I have not had a chance to go back and re-record it. So I do apologize. I'm going to make sure that's get posted on Monday. So, but yeah, oh, wow. It's a great Saturday night. My neighbors next door are having a party, actually. I live in, like this big cul-de-sac, and one of our neighbors across the way on the sack is having a party, and we were thinking about going later and crashing it. But I found something at half price today. I just needed to get out, have a little retail therapy, just look through the books, look through the movies, and just enjoy myself when I've had a good hard 2 weeks of taking care of the kids because they've been sick or something like that. I just need to get out a little bit. So I do. So today I went to half price and I found 3 pieces of treasure that I am so excited to show you guys. I'm so excited. Okay. First one, I really bought it for my son because he's a huge Pearl Harbor, World War, he just loves history and he loves about wars. So I found it's a replica. It's okay. It's not the original, but I found a replica of the Honolulu Star about the Oahu being bombed. And if you guys see it, it's actually signed, oh darn, wrong side, sorry, by Bob Kingles. I don't know Bob Kingles, but he's a U.S. Army retired, Pearl Harbor, 12/7/41. So I wondered if he was there. I've been doing a little research on him. I can't find anything just yet. Blaze, it's so great to have you. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. So I just thought this was a really cool piece to pick up. I had a 10% off coupon, so it was only like $8.50 because I got other things with it too. But I thought that was so cool. It's the whole paper. It's very thin though, but it's all in here. I don't want to take it out due to how old and fragile it is. Like I said, it's not an OG Honolulu Star. It's a replica, which is why obviously the price was so cheap, but that's fine by me. I'll take it, not going to lie. And then I found something for my mother. My mother and I used to watch a lot of movies together, and I found Mother of the Bride. So, Mom, if you're watching this right now, just know that I saw this with Rue McClanahan, and I remember us watching it a long time ago. So I picked it up. So that way, when I come see you next time, we can watch this again together. So, okay, let's just move on from that one, and let's just get to the real star. The real star of my treasure hunt, guys. Oh, I'm so excited to show it. I got it, Alice, Sweet Alice on Blu-ray. And look at her. Isn't she beautiful? Alice, Sweet Alice. Oh my God. She's so beautiful. A Arrow video. She's so lovely. Oh my God. She was $20. Sorry. Let me get you right to the screen. $20. However, I had a coupon. So I believe I only paid, oh shit, I don't have the receipt. So I think I only paid like $17.50 or something like that for it. So tonight, once I'm done with the stream, I'm going to put on Alice, Sweet Alice, and I'm going to turn all the lights off and I'm going to enjoy this mofo. I saw this a long time ago when I was a kid. I think maybe in 3rd grade, and it came on television late at night. And when you only have like 3 or 4 channels that come in through the antenna, you watch whatever they give you, whether that be The Equalizer, Magnum PI, or those late night infomercials that they, for those that are older and actually know that they would play at night when there was nothing else on. And again, you had no channels, and they stopped taking the snow off of the TV when it would come to like midnight, and then they would just close the channel down and just do snow until they put the channel back on again. So this was in between that time, 24-hour programming. And I saw Alice, Sweet Alice, because I remember Brooke Shields. I don't remember how the movie goes. I remember the premise, obviously, and I think I remember who the killer is. But I just remember being so scared when I saw this on cable late at night. And when I saw it, I was like, I've got to have it. I have to have it. There was another one there too that they had with Mia Farrow. Oh God, it was from the early 70s. Let Me Go, something like that. And I was really torn because I kind of wanted that Mia Farrow movie, but I'd never seen it. And I don't want to actually buy movies when they're that expensive that I've never seen before, that I don't know if I'll like or not. The only time I did that was with The Mutilator, and that was Chef Kiss. I love Buddy Cooper's only movie. It was fantastic. Or as many other people might know it as Fall Break, but The Mutilator is like the only one I've ever done that for. It was Chef Kiss payoff. And it was like one of the only times that actually worked for me. And I still try to keep to that, where if I don't know that movie is very good and I have to have it part of my collection, I will not get it, no matter how much it costs. So there, like I said, there was this Mia Farrow movie that she did even way before Rosemary's Baby. I don't have my phone because I took a picture of it. And then there was one other thing I saw, which was Dead Meat. I don't know if you guys watch the channel Dead Meat, but there was a Blu-ray there that was for $100 with James A. Janice, and it said Dead Meat. And I was like, what the hell is that? And it was obviously tucked way behind in a top case, way in the back. I couldn't really see it due to the reflection. I took a picture and I never got a chance to really go back and look and see what it is, because what could be that? I didn't know Dead Meat actually put out something. Blaze says, Mary, we should do a live stream. I want to show you my DVD collection. Text me on Discord. I'm watching on mute right now. No problem. Absolutely. I would love to do that. We can do that next Saturday night after just a regular live stream here on the channel, Blaze. The channel members, we can just all move over to Discord, and I would love to see your DVD collection, because I know you have some gems in there that I've drooled over. Like, I know that you have Prom Night Part 2. I know you have that. And that's the Hello, Mary Lou Prom Night Part 2. And this movie is so hard to find. I paid a lot of money for this movie. I didn't really need Candyman Farewell to the Flesh, because I believe I've already got it on Blu-ray. Neither Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Already got it on Blu-ray. So, but it's so hard to find Hello, Mary Lou Prom Night 2 that when they had it for $30, actually 20, I believe it was 20. I like to keep the receipts in here to find out, but I don't have the receipt in here. But I believe it was 20. I would never pay that much for a movie unless it's like Scream Factory, Arrow Video, something like that, Shout Factory, things like that. But I did for this because I've never found Hello Mary Lou Prom Night 2 on DVD. And I have it on VHS actually under my computer supporting it. So I would show it to you, but I can't. I don't want to crash things down. So yeah, sometimes when I see a gem at the bookstore that if it's on DVD and it's a little more expensive, and like the Slumber Party Massacre movies or the Sorority House Massacre movies, Last House on Sorority Row, just those kind of old school movies that you can't find anymore on DVD, no matter really where you go, even Amazon. If I find them at the bookstore and if I have the money for it, I don't care if it's $50, I will get it. More than likely, though, again, I'll have a coupon, so I don't pay the full price for it. But I do remember one time I bought Slumber Party Massacre 1, 2, and 3 on DVD from the bookstore in like maybe 2009, maybe, but it was around that time. Sadly, due to finances, I had to sell it not long after. And after that, I've never seen another time where I could buy Slumber Party. Well, I mean, part 1, yes, but part 2 and part 3, you cannot find anywhere. And if you do, they are so expensive. And I'm just so angry that I had to sell that at one time because, yeah, when your kids need something and you have a great collection over here and you know you can sell it for a lot of money, you do it. So, but again, yes, I would absolutely love to do that with you, Blaze. Perfect. Have I seen the trailer for Bondsman starring Kevin Bacon? Looks similar to the Evil Dead series. No, I have not seen that yet. I would really like to see that. So tonight, afterwards, I'm going to watch Alice, Sweet Alice. I'm going to do it exactly the way I saw it when I was a kid. I'm going to turn all the lights off. The only light will be coming from the television. And my oldest son is at Six Flags, so he's having the best time, so he's not here. My husband is hanging with my mother-in-law tonight, and my 2 girls got a brand new Xbox game, so they are playing. So it's just me. Oh, and my other son has the flu, and he has my phone, and he just wants to hang with his friends online and video game. He doesn't want to hang with his mom. But who does want to hang with me? Alice, Sweet Alice. Okay, enough of that. So, yeah, so AHS Asylum Trivia. No, Cooks, don't you even think about it. Nope. You get back up here. No, come on, get back up on your space. Cookie wants to co-star, but I told him he's not able to. Go on, baby, get up in your space. You can't jump over. New. Go, baby. Thank you. So, yeah, anyway, I'm really excited to see this movie again and to see how things go and to just relive all that awesome scariness over again. What is a good movie that you guys saw when you were a kid that scared the crap out of you? I'm going to say number 1 straight up is the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Now, mind you, half of the audience here was actually alive in 1984 when the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie came out. So I'm talking to you guys because I know the older generation, by the time that they see a Nightmare on Elm Street, they're so desensitized by other movies such as Hostel, Malignant, and just so many other movies out there that it's not as scary as it was when it first came out. And when it first came out, I wanted to see it so badly. I think I was like 6, something like that. And my oldest brother was so awesome. He showed it to me. And that just kicked everything off of my horror movie kick of, love of horror movies. Because that night, I remember crying so bad because I didn't want to sleep in the middle of my bed because I was genuinely afraid that Freddy Krueger was going to pull up under my mattress and pull me down like he did Johnny Depp. That kind of fear when you're that young, I mean, obviously it's not good for certain kids, but for me, it was awesome. I had never really experienced something like that before. And my mom was like, no more horror movies again, Mary, ever. No, 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 no. You're never going to see another horror movie again. I was like, okay, mom, sure. Okay. And then the next thing I know, I turned around, and as soon as the Child's Play movie came out, just a little bit later in the later 80s, watched it. I watched it. My brother Bobby was like, "You're gonna be so afraid of your dolls afterwards." I was like, "No, I'm not. I want to see this movie." And I saw it. I was like, "It's so awesome!" And then I'd look at my dolls funny at night because I had a lot of them, and then I'd be afraid to go to sleep because I was afraid they might come alive and kill me. Oh God! Like I said, to be a kid of the '70s or '80s, it's just so great. It's just so great. Really, I was like a kid of the '80s and a teen in the '90s, but it was just so fantastic. The Sandman says, Kesh, the theme song was so scary. Oh, really? The Sandman. If you remember, let me check that out, what year that was born. It doesn't. You're talking about the 2017 film with Haley Duff and Tobin Bell. Is that the movie that you're talking about, Kesh? Because if it is, I'm going to watch that movie then tomorrow because I see there's a trailer and there's many places you can go to watch it. So is that the one you're talking about? If not, just let me know because I want to check that out. Did those dolls actually exist? No, not at that time. They didn't actually have Chucky dolls out at that time. I mean, maybe they did, and I was just too young to realize it, but I had a lot of dolls. A lot. I was a big baby doll kind of girl. I had a lot of stuffies, a lot of babies that were little doll girls or doll boys, a lot of Barbies, and after I saw Child's Play, yes, my brother was right. I was afraid they would get up and rise up at night and murder me. Absolutely. And that's the thing, to be in a child's mind like that, to think that's even capable. But I remember right when we moved into this house, I saw the movie The Conjuring, and I was so scared, shivering up here, thinking I was going to hear a come from downstairs in my kitchen, and I was just up here like, please, please, I don't want to hear that. So yeah, there's definitely certain movies nowadays that absolutely can freak you out. Not too many, but it was the best when you were a kid and you'd never seen anything like it, and it just scared the crap out of you. But again, like I said, I had so many dolls. I was afraid they would revolt. Buffy DeVille, thank you so much for being here. Says, always horrified by Hellraiser. Even though I never watched it fully, I would have nightmares of being chased by Cenobites. Amen. That is another good 80s horror movie that my dad wouldn't let me watch. And I was glad because I remember my mom and my dad were watching it together, and the way our living room was positioned in the TV, I could see the living room television if I was to go into the kitchen and grab a drink or a snack. So when I went to go do that, I saw Pinhead, and I was so scared shitless. I ran right back to my room, and I would not watch that movie. And then afterwards, my dad was like, "It's a really good movie. You should actually watch it. Let's watch it together." So yeah, I was like, "Okay." So yeah, absolutely. I hear you, Buffy DeVille. It Hellraiser, and especially part two. Excuse me. I know part two came out later, but part two with the guy on the mattress and like get him off of me. The whole thing about that doctor almost being discovered because he was behind the curtain and the guy was coming to him to pull it down. I mean, I was like, oh my God, don't find him, don't find him. Yes, part two, in my opinion, was fantastic. Part three was okay. And then part 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You know the rest of them. They weren't good, but I own them. Jellyfish. Yes, darling. I absolutely have seen Wishmaster and all of the Wishmaster movies. I remember too, I just rewatched them about 3 weeks ago when I guess I caught a cold or some kind of bronchial infection. I'm not sure. But I was in bed for like 4 days and I couldn't get out. I was so sick. And, I watched all 3 Wishmaster movies again because they are so bad, they're good. And, like, Wes Craven, didn't he do the first one? And he didn't do the second or third one, but they still weren't terrible. First one was the best, but yeah, absolutely. Matt, it is so great to have it. Matt! I'm doing a Shelby AHS Roanoke kind of thing. Matt, it is so great to have you here. Buffy DeVille says, weird question. Have you ever had a paranormal experience? And do you think it's influenced you being a fan of horror and spooky things? Oh yeah, I've absolutely had paranormal experiences. Just not too many. But enough to scare me to go or to believe that that's exists. My best friend Kimberly, when I would go spend the night at her house was the original nursing home for our town. So a lot of people passed away there. A lot of elder people passed away there. And she'd let me know, look, don't be freaked out if you hear whistling, if you hear running, or if you hear certain things, it's just the ghosts in the house. And I'm like, okay. But sure enough, the first night I stayed the night, I'd hear that whistling going down the hallway. When her family was on the other side of the house, and where I was on the other side of the house was nowhere where the family was. And sure enough, somebody was walking down the hallway whistling, and I got scared. I'm not gonna lie. Kimberly told me not to be scared, but I could not help it because I had to go to the bathroom, I think, that night too. It was like 2 a.m. And so I went to the bathroom and I heard footsteps going down the hallway. I heard the whistling and I'm freaking out because that's not something that I would normally hear, obviously, just going to the bathroom. And yeah, that was absolutely scary. So I just remember just running to the bathroom, jumping in the bed and jumping on Kimberly accidentally. And because anyway, I was just too scared to get back up again. But yeah, I used to absolutely have experiences, and sometimes I still do. Like my father passed away this summer. It'll be 2 years, 3 years. It's just so terrible. Sometimes you just don't want to remember. But my dad is around a lot. Like one time, my speaker right here, let me take this down. My speaker right here, I put it up on this shelf so that way it's up and away. My pets can't get to it and it's always safe and, protected. So one day, put it up there and I had my daughter's Xbox remote behind this. And mind you, this has a big, thick stand. It won't move unless you like knock it over with some heavy force. It's not like wind is going to knock it over or anything like that. It has a good solid base. So if something big happens, yeah, it'll knock over, but it doesn't do it easily. So the next thing I know, I'm sitting in the bed right here across the way, and this knocks over, allowing the Xbox remote to fall down and hit the floor. Now, mind you, it was just kind of propped up behind it, just kind of like this, just sitting there. It didn't have any weight on it because I didn't want it to come tumbling down. You obviously could say, hey, it switched. No, because I flipped it over to where it was, when you have the remote like this, it was setting down like that, where the hands come up underneath. So it couldn't have flipped over. And sure as shit, it did. There was no way that could have happened. So that was my dad. And there's been many times where things like that happen. And I don't get scared because I know that's my father. And I'm just so glad that he's here. I'm very glad that he's here. But if you guys have had a paranormal experience and you want to let me know too in the comments, let me know. And if you're enjoying the live stream, please don't forget to give it a thumb up and be very grateful. If you want to go another step further and subscribe, go for it. It's all for free. If you want to be a channel member or a patron, you can certainly do that. There should be links in the description. All right, Alan, it's so good to have you here. Thank you. He says the original Wrong Turn terrified me as a kid, the laughing hillbilly and all. Oh my goodness. Yes. I haven't seen the original Wrong Turn in a long time, but I do remember that part. So, yes. Cash says, sorry, the name was Sleep Stalker, 1995. I used to call it Sandman when I was, Sleep Stalker, 1995. Let's check that out. Oh. Oh, okay. All right. It says 17 years after slaughtering all but one member of the family, a vicious serial killer known only as the Sandman. Okay, so that's, yeah, awaits execution. But first, his jailers allow a minister to visit the killer to give him his last rites, unaware that the minister is a voodoo priest and an ally of the condemned prisoner. Guys, it's on Tubi. It's for free to watch on Tubi. So if you guys need something to watch tonight, go to Sleep Stalker. Oh my gosh, that's another movie I'm going to watch tomorrow. Okay, no problem. Alice, sweet Alice, is keeping me comfort tonight. But I will watch Sleep Stalker tomorrow. That is going to be awesome. Thank you. The 2004 Dead Birds movie used to scare the crap out of me, says Jellyfish. All right. Dead Birds. No, not Berta. Birds 2004. Okay. Oh, Henry Thomas is in this. Oh, God, I love Henry Thomas. He's fantastic. All right. William is a Confederate soldier who is played by Henry Thomas, has gone AWOL with a crew of other men. As the group, among it, a runaway slave, Isaiah Washington, and nurse Nikki Acox, okay, makes its long way along. It stops off to rob a bank clean. Looking to plan a getaway, the gang heads to an empty house to hole up for the evening. And as the soldiers argue with one another, strange things begin happening in the house. And everyone in the group soon begins to realize the place is haunted. Ooh. Okay, that's another good one. Dead Birds 2004. Ooh, Jellyfish says, after getting spooked several times, I ended up having to take my mom and grandma to get buried in a cemetery out of state. Oh my God. Oh my God. No, that's not a good thing. Alan says, my ghost experience when I was a kid, I was at my cousin's and they used to live in a very large woodsy field. We were taking the trash out, but I swear I saw something walking next to us in the trees. Ooh. Let's see, Ellen. To this day, I swear on my life, I saw something moving and watching us. Didn't help my cousins. Locked me outside. Oh my God, what jerks. What an experience. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. They were in urns. I gotcha. So you were saying after spooked. Absolutely. My dad is cremated. So I understand. And his remains are at my mom's house, my, childhood home. And so when I go, I give my dad, his cremated, what we have him in a memorable commemorative box is, that we always like to give it a hug and tell him hello. So I'm so glad that, yeah, she didn't want to take that urn and move it out because of that. So I hear you. Buffy says, as a kid, I had bed covers pulled off me more than once. I didn't know what a ghost was, and I was so confused, but still something in me knew not to look at the bottom of the bed. Okay, that's creepy. That's some really creepy shit. Oh my God. Buffy, I'm so sorry you went through that. No, I was the typical kid that was so scared of Linda Blair being in my closet and, coming up under the bed to possess me, or I don't know. So I cannot imagine actually having something like that happen to me. I probably would have peed myself in my bed from fright at that time. Wow. You are so strong, obviously. What did you do? Did you just Pretend to be asleep? Did you I mean, just I don't wanna get into your business, but that is so creepy. Oh, lordy. Lordy, lordy, lordy. You guys have some great experiences, and, I mean, yeah, there's certainly things out there that we just certainly cannot explain. When right after my best friend Kimberly died, literally, like, a day after she passed away, I was holding my son, he was a newborn, and I was crying really extra hard because I was so upset that Kimberly would never have a chance to meet my son or hold him. And then all of a sudden, I just felt like somebody was giving me a great big hug, and, like, that was Kimberly. And I would just to this day, I've never experienced anything like that. And oh, it was so beautiful. I don't have too many. Oh, okay. I've got one creepy thing. Okay. So Kimberly and I were outside of her office one night. We, we're adults, we're in our 20s. We can smoke, we can do whatever we want. But Kimberly still lived with her parents. And she didn't want her mom to know that she was smoking cigarettes. So we were sitting outside the porch, the steps that led out of her office into the back of the yard, and the lights were off. We had doors shut. Her daughter was asleep. It was just us, and we got right off work. So we were out there having a cigarette, just chatting, and all of a sudden, footsteps from the back of the house ran thump 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 through the house. Now, Kimberly's house was a big rectangle, so that hallway went from literally one end to the back door, to the front door. And then, of course, on each side of the hallway, there were rooms and stuff like that. So it was one long hallway from the front door all the way down to the back door. So, so that hallway is broken off in three sections. The first section is for the family, middle section is for Kimberly, and then the final section was a daycare. They were separated by locked doors. All the doors were shut and locked, and somebody ran from the back door to the front door while throwing open the office door and flipping on the light. And the thing is that the light came on first, but the light switch was behind the door. So how did that I mean, Kimberly and I were so freaked out because at first we thought, "Oh my god, her daughter must have been up. She must have been the one running through the house." So she went to go check on her child. But when Kimberly came back, she was like, Mary, my daughter's asleep in bed. Everybody's asleep." And she was like, "And the hallway doors are shut and locked. So how could somebody have just run straight down the hallway and not stop to unlock, open the doors, shut them, and then keep running?" Oh, and I mean, it was crazy. So yeah, there's definitely been some really creepy times that have really gotten to me. Jellyfish says, right after she passed, my grandma would have conversations with no one that was visible to me, but she could describe him in detail. Wow. 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 I mean, that's number one, that's pretty badass. Like I wonder if she was like seeing somebody or if maybe she was just seeing memories, because that can happen in our older ages when we're getting ready to pass. Sometimes either we can just get lost in the memories that are inside our head and we really think that what is in our head is what's really happening in front of us, or maybe we're seeing family members that are calling to us, so that have already passed on. So that's wow. Wow. I bet you were pretty freaked out, Jellyfish. Buffyville continued about the sheets. She said one night it happened. I left the room and got into bed with my grandmother. After falling asleep, she woke me up asking why her covers were on the floor. It followed me. Okay, sorry. Anybody else get a little freaked out sometimes and they just have to make sure that they really are alone and that really there's nobody watching them right now? That's this moment. That's this moment. Wow. That's freaky, Buffy DeVille. Honestly, if you ever thought about it, You should write that. I mean, that's wow. I mean, I'm just saying if you ever wanted to get out like your feelings for it or something like that, but that is just, and especially since it's something that actually happened to you, because there's so many people out there that fake their incidences now or just want to be part of that trend. But people who have actually gone through things and had those real experiences, I don't know, I just like hearing from them and how they handle things and how they made it with not literally freaking out. Alan says, to this day, I feel my dad is watching me and my mom. My mom tells me he's constantly talking to her at night, and I'm convinced he likes to mess with me and hide stuff from me. He loves pulling pranks. Oh, Alan, that is so sweet. Oh my gosh. But isn't that like, I don't know, that just feels so good to know sometimes that your parents are still around, especially when you loved him so much and you just sucks having life without him. So I understand. That's really beautiful. Is there anything in specific he's done to you if you wanted to say? Okay. So what are you guys going to watch tonight? Because after the live stream, which we will be wrapping up in a little bit, again, I am going to watch Alice, Sweet Alice. Found her today at Half Price Books. Arrow, of course. And like, Brooke Shields, this is, I think, in 74. I think it's 1974 or something like that. Oh, 76. Alice, Sweet Alice, copyright is in 76. So, but I saw this movie probably 85, 86. I was definitely living in my house in the country before we moved in our house that was near where Stacey Stites was murdered. So, because I remember by that time we moved into that other house, we had cable. And before that, we only had 3 channels and an antenna to help us get those channels. And one night, I managed to see Alice, Sweet Alice. And if you guys didn't get a chance to see, I got a replica of the Honolulu Star for the first day of the bombing of Pearl Harbor. And it is actually signed by a retired Army vet, Bob Kingles. Maybe I'm looking at the name wrong, but I just saw that. My son is really into wars and memorabilia. And so when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, I got to get this and frame it. So I'm going to keep it in this thing right here to make sure it stays preserved and put it in a picture frame for my son. So I thought that was really nice. And then Alice, show them your face, Alice. Don't be afraid. Anyway, so yeah, I really appreciate everybody coming. And I apologize for the late link. I thought I sat it last Saturday. And when I came to the live stream to make sure that everything was set up and ready to go at 7 o'clock, I noticed that I didn't have a link. So I'll immediately set one up after this for you guys. AHS Asylum, the trivia should be on Monday, new podcast on Sunday. And now that it is spring break and I have a lot of kids settled, half of them, well, Venice is already over his flu, so he's gone, to Six Flags. One kid is great, and then 2 kids that are still under the weather, but that's still better than having all 4 kids under the weather. So I'll be able to fix AHS Asylum and the trivia and put that up. And I had to also add in certain questions. I had just finished watching Asylum again for my sister Jude deep dive. And it was fresh in my mind. I had to add certain things. Absolutely. But is there anything that you guys got this week as well that maybe you're like, oh, it's Saturday night, I'm going to enjoy it? Is there anything you guys got? Let me know in the comments. But, other than that, it's spring break over here. And I'm excited because I get to spend that time with my kids. And don't worry, though, I have videos pre-set up for you guys. So there's No problem. There's going to be plenty of still content coming for you guys next week, even though it is spring break. It's not uploaded yet, but it's there to be to be released for my channel members. Oh, well, hello, Cooksy. Nope, no. Good boy. So anyway, Cooks is trying to be a little superstar sometimes. Anyway, but I am really excited about this week coming up. I'm really looking forward to catching up on AHS Mortuary too, guys. One thing too that I have been working on so hard lately is AHS Mortuary, because if you guys remember, I told you that my AHS Mortuary, I was going to put that out soon. And I'm glad I said that, because it kickstarted me into actually focusing on Mortuary, since a lot of the trivia stuff is already done and the podcasts are done. I'm so excited for you guys to see it. I have so many different plot lines. I mean, it's in my opinion, what a lot of people really like about AHS Asylum is that, number one, it's a 13 episode season. That's what my season is. AHS Mortuary is 13 episodes. There's more than just one storyline going on about Lana Winters being committed to Briarcliff for Bloody Face. You also have Kit and his story. And then you have Bloody Face. And then you have Sister Jude. And then you have the Devil and Sister Mary Eunice. And then you have Dr. Arden and his storyline with Shelley. And then, of course, Monsignor Howard and his ambitions and how he drops Jude and leaves her to rot in the asylum like the POS he is. I really hate Monsignor Timothy Howard. I hate him, especially even more after seeing him again in Asylum and what he did to our Jude. Hashtag justice for Jude. Justice for Doris, justice for Jude. Okay, because she was a woman of faith, and she wasn't perfect, but she really thought what she was doing was right. And then when she started realizing it wasn't, she did change. And then by that time, so many odds were against her, and then she was pushed deep down too far into the asylum, which sucks. But anyway, there's just so much extra plots, so many great characters, so many different character arcs. That is what I have incorporated into my season of AHS Mortuary. We have oh, I don't have my script in front of me. I believe I named her Sally. Yeah, Billy Lord is Sally. She is basically the sheriff of the whole town. And then we have Wade Foster, who is played by Billy Porter. He is basically like the chief. He's everything. Anyway, Sally is investigating murders by the Casket Man. And he is a man that leaves his victims. He rips them apart, reattaches them back together, puts them in a wooden casket, and engraves their name on the top and places them in a cemetery. And the whole town is called Morningvale. And most of the story revolves around the Morningvale Funeral Home, which is run by Lily and Tom Hart, and that is Sarah Paulson and Evan Peters. So yeah, and the mortuary is definitely not your average mortuary. And then there's real true crimes. That's another thing I really loved about American Horror Story, is that they really would take true crimes that happened in America, and maybe they would just flip the time, flip some of the characters, but they would just keep the general premise of it and work that into the season of American Horror Story. And I did the same thing. I took two big crimes that happened and worked them into the season. Excuse me. And there's so many twists and turns that I'm so glad I made a 13 episode season. I have basically the premise of every episode, but all the fine details, the character arcs, that is what I'm still working on. And I'm really excited to show you guys, because I put so much time into this, because I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I love American Horror Story. And if they would ever see it and say, holy moly, let's renew American Horror Story for season 14, and let's do something badass like this. Or maybe AHS Mortuary will give them renew more interest into the show, and the people will be like, oh, well, people still really love this show. Maybe we should continue and give the show more seasons. So I don't know. That's not ultimately my goal, but the thing is that I've been watching the show since Coven. That's a long ass time. And when you've been watching something for so long, you get a general feel of it and how, since you're a writer, you would do it. And again, this is what I would do. So Alan is asking, can you dish on what year it takes place or the location? I'm seated. Oh, okay. I believe I have it set in the late 70s. Because I'm pretty positive at first I had it in 1999. That's when it was all set. It was episodes 1 through 13 took place in the summer of 2000 or the summer of 1999. But it didn't add up. It just didn't work. So I believe I switched it to 1979. This is when it takes place in Morningvale. And again, that's the name of the town, Morningvale. I don't know where it is and what state. So I can't tell you that, but there is definitely farmland. It's beautiful. It's just a regular town of under 50,000 people. We have our sheriff. We have a main street. We have a boutique that's, I can't tell you who that's run by. Let me see what I can tell you. Hang on one second. Okay. I just had to pull it up real quick. Okay, that's right. It's 1981. That's right. Okay, so it's set in Morningvale in 1981. Sorry, I just pulled up my notes. Mortuary follow, and this is my synopsis that I actually had ready, and I apologize. I guess I should have pulled it up, and I didn't. It is set to follow Lily Hart, Sarah Paulson, and Tom Hart, Evan Peters. There's the siblings who run the Morningvale Mortuary and Cemetery. But there's so many dark rumors about their relationship, whispers that they're not truly siblings, but something a little bit more sinister. Bodies begin to start appearing in wooden caskets across the cemetery. And by the time that episode 1 starts, episode 1 opens on our third victim. So by that time, the episode starts in 1981. In January 1981, there's already been two victims, and the third one has just showed up in the beginning episode. But they call him the Casket Man. He's an elusive serial killer with this ritualistic pattern. And I'm sorry, her name is Sally Kennedy. Why did it say here that Jessica Lange is Sally Kennedy? I don't know why I noted here that Jessica is Sally Kennedy. That's Billy Lord. Her and her deputies are unable to stop the killings, especially when the bodies show like no obvious signs of murder, just that something monstrous has torn them apart, yet they appear put together and in caskets. So a monster can't be killing them because a monster can't make caskets and put things back together. So they're truly stumped as to what is going on. So we actually meet certain characters in the first episode. Where are my characters? Okay, so I got Lily and Tom, got that one. And then, of course, we have Sally, who is Billy Lord. We have Billy Porter as the chief of police, Wade Foster. We have, and okay, there we go. Now, episode 1 opens with the funeral for Carl Bowen. He is Maya Bowen's husband, and Maya is played by Angela Bassett. She is a retired nurse, and she's initially very weak and afraid, but she will undergo this major transformation through the whole season, which I'm really excited for. Um, Paula Bowen is her daughter that has come to stay with her mom after, her father has died. Her mother is too afraid to be alone, and the casket man is on the loose. So she agrees to stay with her mother to kind of be with her for a little bit. Frank Winters is the local handyman and carpenter. He is kind of this really sweet, kind guy that him and Paula eventually get together and have a relationship. So that's where he comes in. Then we have Michael Kramer. He is involved in a disappearance of a young girl named Mary in 1979. So, but they don't suspect him of it. He was just one of the last people she saw before Mary went missing. So he's just this very, now he's older. No, actually, sorry, I think I got that was supposed to be 69 because this takes place in 81 and this happened when they were in high school. So I apologize. I think it's 1969. But his girlfriend basically went missing when they were in high school, and he's grown up, now he was a victim. He has no idea where his girlfriend went, what happened to her. Nobody in the town suspects him. He didn't do anything to her. And so he's grown up now to be married and have a couple of boys. So yeah, Michael is just a regular guy. And then, oh, I can't tell you. Oh, okay, fuck it. You know what? I'm going to tell you guys this because this is supposed to be a surprise. But one of the main shocks that I have coming up in the show, and I don't think anybody else will really see it because it's just us right now, is that Lana Winters will return in episode 6, 7, and 8. She is still the famous journalist. After Lana escaped from Briarcliff and wrote Maniac, she got a job hosting CNN and stuff like that, or not CNN, NBC, things like that. But Lana also said that she hosted this show called America Unmasked. She said this in Asylum. So for my AHS mortuary, Lana is going to come to Morningvale to investigate the Casket Man killings. And that's why she's there in those 3 episodes. And her character will obviously play a big role in finding out who the Casket Man is and confronting that. So yeah. And so we have Angelica Ross too. She plays Regina Hawthorne, who is the strict but caring head nurse at the Morningvale retirement home. She's the one who is very quiet and notices a lot of things like disturbing patterns with her elderly patients. She listens to all the hot goss, so she knows things that people are saying behind each other's backs. And because a lot of people don't see her as someone threatening or somebody that could do something to them, they all just she's just always behind the scene, but she always hears everything. Now, Delilah is Glenn Close, played by Glenn Close. She's Maya's best friend. She's charismatic and she's brutally honest, and she refuses to get involved in the town's affairs. Her boyfriend is played by Bruce Campbell. Of course, you guys know I had to pull Bruce Campbell in here somewhere. Bruce Campbell's character, oh darn it, is Aaron Worthington, I think. I don't have it up in here, but he owns the local grocery store, where the next character, Larice, who is played by MJ Rodriguez, she is a hardworking single mother. She manages the local grocery store underneath Aaron. And like I said, he's the owner. She is his manager. And Larice has 3 boys. And at the end of episode 1, they are going to stumble upon something that has nothing to do with the Casket Man. Let's just say that. But has everything to do with them scaring the piss out of them. We have Deputy Nancy Crane, who is Leslie Grossman. Deputy Billy Langley, who is Macaulay Culkin. We have Deputy Mark Whalen with Cheyenne Jackson, playing him. I have Adina Porter playing Corinne Bradley. She is the local piano teacher with an exceptional memory. So she knows all of the kids. She knows a lot of what goes on at the families and behind the closed doors because she's there and she hears a lot of things. So she's also very important in here as well. But those are a lot of my characters. And yeah, you know what I'll start doing then is I basically am past, I'm in episode 3 right now. I'm trying to fine tune it. Maybe I'll just upload to you guys what I have for episode 1 and 2 and just start doing on that. But oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you so much, Alan, for saying that. Ryan, hire Mary now. Thank you. I put so much thought into this because I wanted to know what you guys would want too and what I would want. And being part of the AHS fandom, I've been watching since Kevin, but I've been reviewing since Hotel. So I know a lot of elements of what the fans want and what they don't want. So in my American Horror Story Mortuary, there's no ghosts. There's no haunted houses, okay? There's no Antichrist. Nothing like that. Not one element. So like I said, what fans like, what they want to see, and what I like and what I want to see are in here. There's no Tate and Violet. There's no murder house. There's connections to other seasons, obviously. But nothing too close to connect aside from Lana Winters. So, yeah. Like I said, guys, I put so much work into it. All of the characters, it took me months to develop them. They all have backstories. They all have families, their names, their character arcs. Well, not character arcs, sorry. Their families have the names, their families have stories. I literally spent so much time developing these major characters, supporting characters, and side characters. Because honestly, that's where you get the most of your story. That's where AHS is also so known for, is how great the characters are, their arc, and how well they integrate into the story. So yeah. You know what? I guess what we'll do is next Saturday, I'll have some information. We'll just do an AHS mortuary talk. And if there's any feedback that you guys want to give, I would be so grateful. You guys know how much I love you and appreciate you and respect your thoughts and feelings. So anything that you have to say would be very helpful. Okay, now we've been streaming for about an hour, and I'm not going to lie. I'm going to treat myself to a huge Coca-Cola. I'm going to go to the convenience store and refill this bad boy. I had one last night, and so I've been waiting tonight to have one. I'm going to refill that bad boy. I have a Snickers right back there that has been calling my name all day, but I have said no Snickers. No. I'm going to wait until after the bookstore because I knew I would find something great. So I am off to grab a Coke, set the mood, and watch Alice, Sweet Alice. You guys are the best. Thank you again for streaming with me for another Saturday. Again, let's keep it going. After this, I'm going to set the link for next Saturday, and let's talk AHS Mortuary. And again, anything that you guys have to say, well, let's start the beginning of the live stream, like with just talking, all of us, and tell me what you're doing, how you guys have been, if there's anything that you just maybe need to get off your chest, or you need some support, or you just need some loving, whatever, hun. You just let us know what you need and we'll help you out. And then we'll move past, once we moved into chatting and checking up with each other, we'll talk about AHS Mortuary because you guys are so more important to me than that. But anyway, guys, thank you so much again for watching. You are so sweet. Thank you so much again, Alan. I thank you again for saying that. Like I said, I've just put so much into it that I'm just so proud of it, because it's like a book that I wrote. So yeah, anyway. Time to spend all night working on a paper. Oh, Alan, you got this. You got this, honey. You are smart. You are badass. And you got this. You get that paper. All right, guys. I love you all so much. Thank you all for being here. Take care of yourselves. Make sure you're giving yourself lots of love. You need it. You deserve it. You are so wonderful. Again, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And beware of sexy Scathitch. We got some cold weather coming here in Texas. She's coming in with that cold weather. She's so hot and sweaty out there. She's going to come out and do her little dance once it gets cooler, her little man dance. Watch out for her. Bye, guys.